And with the pandemic, with all that extra stress, I got really pretty severely depressed.
So I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me because your story is going to be a bit unique. Usually I ask people about how their lives have changed since going plant-based, but you've been in the plant-based world for some time and are quite a well-known figure in the plant-based world. So I'm curious about why you came to the program and how it's changed your life.
Sure. So the main driver for me to kind of do something. So over the pandemic, let's start with that. I gained 30 pounds. And so we cleaned up things and were exercising more before the pandemic. Kind of held my breath for a couple of months because I can get through anything in 3 months. I can write a book in 3 months and work 15 hours a day. And then I realized it wasn't going to stop anytime soon. We just, like many people, I think the pandemic was very hard, emotionally, mentally, feeling trapped in your house, all those things. And so what we kind of started doing was to break the monotony, treating, having more treaty foods. And the thing is one treaty food is fine, but then we turn it, we totally, probably half the weight was in So Delicious ice cream bars, if I'm going to be quite honest. So we'd have one and we're like, okay, that was super satisfying. It's portioned out. We're doing okay. Then, oh, this is a really bad week. Here's our second bar for the day for this week, right? And with the pandemic, with all that extra stress, I got really pretty severely depressed. And Cheryl, usually I do all this. Cheryl had to find us a new doctor. She had to do all the things. She did great and really secured herself a place forever, And so at that point, then I realized my liver numbers are still not doing any better with this doctor that we have. Part of it was exercise for me personally. And again, part of it, because then I didn't exercise for a summer because it was hot. I exercised in the winter, my numbers went down, but we went to a liver doctor. And then I had the liver biopsy. And then they were like, you either have stage 3 or 4 fibrosis. And no one really explained to me other than it just can't get better. So I go and Google and I realized if I have stage 4 or cirrhosis, there are no treatments. And I could go in experimental treatments. He did recommend that. But liver transplant, I did my own research. It's oh, liver transplant. And it scared me. And I was looking at 2 programs. And I talked to Chef AJ because we're friendly and we're friends. And she's just such a nice, helpful person. She's really been so kind to me during this journey. I cannot express it enough. And I was looking at the McDougall program and another program because I have Graves' disease. And I thought the other one had to do with some autoimmune stuff. And I'm like, maybe that's where my issue lies. She gave me some facts that I did not know and kept saying, if you go with the McDougall program, he'll be your doctor for life, which didn't register what that meant. It does now, and I'm super glad of it. But then I was like, well, I have a doctor. I like my new doctor. Everything's fine. So, and Cheryl has had type 2 diabetes for several years, has been on several medications, my wife, for anyone who doesn't know. And honestly, I was getting a little tired of hearing her complain about her diabetes and not doing anything about it. And I've told her that. We've talked about that. And so I feel like my liver thing was a catalyst to get her healthy as well. Not in a manipulative way, it's just how it worked out. So the interesting thing that is then I started the program and I was super okay, look, no one is supporting me. I have one friend who went with me to the biopsy who ever since then, we have walked every single week. Once a week, we meet up, we walk. She's the one person who's like, I'm here for you. This is what we're doing. This is how I can help you. Everybody else is like, well, I'd like to help, but right. And I'm like, I'm done. I help a lot of people. So I'm like, I'm not helping as much. And so I told her, I don't have the support that I thought I was going to have, and you are going to support me if you want to stay married to me. Not quite that bad, but like, you have to not eat anything in the house that I can't eat during these 12 days. You have to watch all the things with me. You have to sit there and hold my hand, which I didn't really need, but and she literally watched everything with me. And then by Wednesday, and I was like, in the Q&A, Dr. McDougall, this is awesome. Her blood sugar is the lowest it's ever been. And he was like, ooh, that might be a bit too low. And so I told Cheryl to immediately email our doctor. And then I was kind of like, and at this point, so this thing, it was Tuesday, the program started on Friday. And I forget, I expected to lose no weight. And I went in there telling Dr. Lim, who is delightful. Like, I adore him. And after our first little, if anybody watches this and is like, I'm not sure if I should do this. And I was super doctor shy. And I made Cheryl sit with my appointment with Dr. Lim. And immediately after, I looked at her and I said, can he come live with us? So he's
Great.
such a kind soul. But I didn't expect to lose any weight, and I did, because we've been eating some not horrible fake meats, but there's been more stuff. I've been making a lot of accommodations. Cheryl likes this, so we'll do that. Cheryl's trying to make life easier on me, so we go out, even though I can make anything that she wants, and I can make it McDougall style. But with her just doing that, and I mean, we weren't doing the maximum weight loss. We weren't doing Mary's Mini. We had some tofu. We had a little soy milk, living on the edge, right? And I had started losing weight. Cheryl was also on Ozempic and some other diabetes drugs. So her weight loss and some insulin was slowed, but still her numbers were dropping. But during the 12 days, I lost 7.5 pounds, which I told Stacy, I'm like, if I were you, I'd think I was lying, because that's just not possible. Because we were eating 2 giant bowls of oatmeal every morning. We were eating, I mean, we didn't just eat all day long, but we ate until we were an 8 or a 9 out of 10. If I walked away and I was a little bit hungry, I'd pop another little baby potato in my mouth. And then Cheryl joined the program thanks to you, which I really, really appreciate. And I heard she's the first one to ever join halfway.
Yeah, it was great, but we got her in and it worked out well. And because she'd been watching along the whole way, it was kind of a seamless entry into the course. So I'm glad she could do that with you.
It really, I will say this, and for anyone whose partner doesn't want to join, you can do this. And you can, I will say for me, because in honesty, while I had fatty liver, which the fatty liver part can be cured just by me losing weight, which is why I've been telling people I'm trying to actively lose weight. But having, her diabetes get better is like a big deal. Like for me, that's a much more health risk, and with all the meds and stuff. And then now that she's off the insulin, she is losing weight at a fairly rapid pace as well. I think now she's lost 10 pounds since all that started.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And it was really, really a nice experience. Like, I felt more than safe with Dr. Lim. And I feel like he's a very good holistic physician, and that he really looks at where you are. And I felt a little bit like after our first time, I had more of a psychiatrist appointment or psychologist appointment, because he could sense I had been in therapy and I had worked on things, and we started there. which felt very special. So I came in, I guess, to hopefully my goal was to hopefully find a way to lose a little weight. To, I've always felt that whole food, plant-based, no oil made sense, so I didn't need a lot of convincing of that. But I will tell you, if you are not convinced and you go in and you're just like, I would have oil if we went out, and oil in maybe some veggie burgers and stuff like that, because I was eating gluten-free as well. And that's enough oil to stop things. It's crazy.
It's amazing what a little bit amounts to on your body. It's just wild. You
I
think
would
I
never
don't eat
believe it.
much, and yeah, it stops weight loss. It's a killer. So